Welcome students. Now we are going to end up this chapter with this topics called as phloem transport. Up till now we have studied about how the transportation takes place from one part of the plant to the other part of the plant through various methods and through various mechanisms. Now we are going to end this chapter. In the previous video we have studied about how the transportation of water takes place and how the transpiration process takes place. It is very important question, that is transpiration, which is how does the transpiration takes place and is it a necessary evil or a necessary thing or an unnecessary thing. That is, transpiration is required by the plant and in how much quantity it is used in the plant. Okay, so now I'll just go with a brief outcome of all the previous topics whatever we have covered about it. We have covered about diffusion, active transport, passive transport, and facilitated diffusion, and transpiration, water potential, osmosis, etc. So now root pressure theory, transpiration pull, etc. Now we have been studying about briefly about the phloem transport. Up till now we have studied about the xylem vessels, that how the water transport takes place in the xylem vessels, that is how transpiration, how the water pressure increases in one cell of the xylem vessel to the other cell of the xylem vessel, which helps in pulling of the water into the xylem vessel from root to the shoot system. We have studied about in the small herbaceous plants how the root pressure theory takes place, whereas in the long plants how the how the transportation of water takes place with the help of transpiration pull. Okay, so now only plants does not require only water for the survival. Of course, we cannot only survive on water for our need, for our daily life. We require food, yes, of course. So plants also require certain amount of food items to be transported throughout their body parts, that is nothing but throughout the plant body. So how do they transport the food items throughout their plant body? We have studied out that how does the plant body helps in movement of water substances from roots to the shoot system. That is, we pour water or through the rainy system or through the rain system, water is transferred into the soil. Through the soil, water is being transported to the shoot system from from the root heads to the shoot tip. Now that is the food system which is prepared, that is nothing but food is not prepared in the roots. We all know that food is not prepared in the roots of the plants. Food is always prepared in the leaves of the plants. How? By a process called as photosynthesis process. By a process called as photosynthesis process, food is prepared in the leaves of the plants. Okay, so how? It is by the help of light, the pigment called chlorophyll, and the substance called as oxygen, the air called as oxygen. These three are the main requirements by which the food is being prepared in the plants. Yes, so whatever substances which are linked, whatever raw materials are being used by the plant are supplied by the plant itself, whereas in the presence of light, chlorophyll pigment will be helping in conversion of normal molecules into glucose molecules, carbohydrates, great carbohydrate molecules into glucose molecules, which these glucose molecules are further transported into various parts of the plant. So I'll just go with a brief description. In the next slide, in the first slide, we will be studying about the factors affecting rate of transmission. Already we have studied about it, but I just want to give you a brief information about how does this factors affecting rate of transpiration include light, temperature, wind, and humidity. Light is nothing but the sunlight. How come how the light affects the transpiration is nothing but when there is more amount of light intensity, what happens? More amount of photosynthetic process takes place, which ultimately results in widening of stomata. Okay, when more amount of light is fall on the leaves of the plant, ultimately results in more amount of photosynthetic process. When more amount of photosynthetic process takes place, more amount of humidity is formed in the leaf, which ultimately results in widening of the stomata and more amount of transpiration takes place. Okay, so in the next temperature, of course, when there is high temperature outside the atmosphere and when there is low temperature inside the leaf, ultimately what happens? Transpiration rate increases. Next, wind, of course, when there is humid, when there is very high amount of wind condition around the in the surroundings, near the plant, what happens? Transpiration is very higher. Transpiration is very higher in faster and windier conditions. Okay, so in coming to humidity, transpiration is very slower in high humidity conditions. When there is humidity, when there is high humidity, that is when there are dry conditions, like suppose you are in a deserted area, the plants in the deserted area gets closed up because they create a stress like condition, due to which what happens, a growth hormone called as abscisic acid. Abscisic acid is released in the plants, which ultimately results in closure of the stomata. I'll repeat once again. Due to very high humidity in the environmental conditions, that is very dry condition. This also affects in temperature also. This condition also comes under temperature box also, where high temperature, during very high temperature, what happens? Plant releases certain amount of abscisic acid, which ultimately results in closure of the stomata, due to which what happens, more amount of water is stored in the plant, so that during the drought conditions, the plant can survive without the accomplishment of enough water. Okay, so in the next slide, we'll study about uptake of mineral salts. So uptake of minerals is by of course, xylem. It is also done by xylem vessels. That is, xylem helps in uptake of water and mineral ions. Water is being transported through root pressure theory and transpiration pull theory. But how does minerals transported? I already explained you that there are two methods, that is passive absorption and active transport. Passive absorption is without the use of any amount of energy. When the more amount of minerals are present in the soil and less amount of minerals are present in the plant, there is a normal passive process, that is movement of substances from higher concentration to lower concentration without any energy required. Though no energy is required. But when there are chances that lower amount of minerals are present in the soil and very high amount of minerals are present in the plant, how does the transportation takes place? This transportation also takes place with the help of active transport, which requires certain amount of energy. Okay, with the help of certain amount of energy, movement of ions will be done from lower concentration to higher concentration with the help of energy. Okay, so and one more important point is, once the mineral ions are transported from soil through root hairs into the root, then they are again transported with the help of water. Okay, because water is the carrier molecule. Okay, water is the carrier molecule. It helps in transportation of minerals from root to the shoot system. So along with the water, all the mineral ions will also get transported from the root system to the shoot system. Okay, only difference of water and mineral ions is the concentration gradient. The concentration gradient present in the soil as well as in the root system. Okay, so coming to the next slide. Now we'll start with the transportation of substances in the plants, that is food substances. How come the food substances are transported in the plants? You can see a diagram there, where on the very left side you can see a enlarged structure of a plant, that is phloem tissues carried fruit from the leaves. That is, I already told you, phloem is the phloem cells, that is phloem vessels, or you can say vascular bundles, which consists of xylem and phloem vessels. In that, phloem vessels are usually helpful in the transportation of food materials, whereas xylem vessels are helpful in the transportation of water and mineral ions. Okay, so the initial stage from where the phloem is started is called as leaf. Okay, from the leaf, the phloem vessels get initiated, but the xylem vessels, where are they initiated? From the root system. But the phloem vessels are initiated from the leaf system, because leaf is the source of food material. Food is not prepared in the roots, it is prepared in the leaf part. Okay, now you will get a doubt that, ma'am, some of the fruits or some of the vegetables which have underground flowers, underground roots, which are also consumed, which contains lot of food materials in that, yes or no? Like potato, like beetroot, these are the underground dead systems, underground stem tubers or underground roots, we also called as. How does these materials contain food material? How does these contain some amount of storage organs? These are all. Why does these organs are called as storage special cells? Because these usually leaf is only the part which contains most amount of photosynthetic pigment. Okay, leaf contains chlorophyll pigment in each and every plant. In each and every plant, leaf is the place where more amount of chlorophyll pigment is present. So the photosynthetic process is usually taken place in the leaf cells, but once the carbohydrate molecule, whichever it is present in the plant cell, once the carbohydrate molecule is being transformed into glucose molecule, that glucose molecule is being transported to the root systems, to the various parts of the plants for the storage purpose. For example, I'll give you a basic example of mango. Initially, the photosynthetic pigment is in the leaf itself. The leaf will be helping in the process of photosynthesis. The carbohydrates whichever are present in the leaves will be converting the carbohydrate into glucose molecule. This glucose molecule will be transported to the fruit part or the flower part. That flower will be later on converted into fruit part, and in the fruit part the glucose molecule is stored, okay. So in the form of starch or sucrose, in the form of sucrose or starch, that glucose molecules will be stored, so that when it cannot be, because the photosynthesis process is always continuous process, the glucose cannot only accommodate in one particular area. So because of which the glucose will be always moving from source to sink. Source to sink. Source is the leaf area, whereas sink is the storage area. It can be a root, flower, fruit, root, anything, any part of the leaf, any part of the plant, unless from where the more amount of glucose is being transported and stored is called as sink, okay. From source to sink, simple process. Source is leaf, sink is root, fruit, leaves, stem, and some amount of flowers, okay. For example, basic example, in case of sugarcane, where more amount of pulp or glucose is being stored? In the stem part, yes or no? In the stem part, in case of sugarcane plant, more amount of glucose is being stored in the stem part, okay. So in this you can see xylem tissues carry water and dissolve minerals from roots to shoot, from the roots to shoot system, whereas phloem tissues carry food from leaf to downwards or sidewards or any other transport. One more important point is xylem vessels are always unidirectional process. Xylem vessels always play a major role in unidirectional process, whereas phloem vessels play a process called as multi-directional process, because you don't have a leaf only on the top of the plant. You have leaves on various branches and various ways in the plants. So it is a multi-directional process. The phloem system is a multi-directional process, whereas the xylem system is only a unidirectional process, that is from roots to shoots, okay. So next, in the next slide we can see, this is very important slide. You can see an enlarged structure of a sieve, that is phloem cell. We are studying in detail about the phloem, but just before going how the transportation of food takes place from leaf to the sink, that is from root to or to fruit, before going to that part, we will be studying how the phloem cell looks like, okay. So you can see here the enlarged structure is nothing but the companion cell. The side part, you can see the side part in which you have a black colored structure, that is called as cytoplasm. The companion cell is also called as sister cell. Companion, you have studied this in your first year's topic, just go through it. This is called as companion cells or sister cells, okay. So and the middle part is called as sieve cell or sieve trachate, sieve vessel, phloem cell, you can so call it as any way. So that cell is called as sieve tube, and the perforations, you can see at the top, the perforations are called as sieve plate. Each sieve plate have many perforations. Perforations are nothing but small hole-like structures for the transportation of food from one sieve tube to the other sieve tube, okay. On the sieve plate, you will have more amount of perforations, so that the transportation of food from one sieve tube will be done into the other sieve tube, okay. And the side cell is called as companion cell, or which is comprises along with the cytoplasm, and the center cell is called as sieve tube. You can see in the other picture, that is, those cells are interconnected. Many cells are interconnected along with the plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata are nothing but in the cell, one cell connecting to the other cell with small interjunctions, okay. One cell or one sieve tube connecting to the other sieve tube through small interjunction. Those interjunctions are called as plasmodesmata. You can see in the, you have five pipes. You can see 5 pipes. In the first pipe, those cells are called as companion cells. In the second, those are called as sieve plates or sieve tube. Third, again companion cells. Fourth, again sieve tubes, and fifth, again companion cells, like that. Each sieve tube is always attached with the companion cell, okay. So this is the basic structure of a phloem cell. This is the enlarged structure, and that is the basic TS structure. In the next slide, now how come the transportation of food takes place through phloem vessels? During photosynthesis, what happens? More amount of food is being stored in the form of sugar in the leaves, okay. more amount of food is being stored in the sugar leaves. When the pressure, due to the pressure which is built up in the leaf cells, okay, when what, for example, I'll give you a basic example. Suppose you have a compartmental pipe, okay, in which you have small gate like structures in the pipe, okay. You have a tiffin, take for example, you have a tiffin box, comprises of 10 shelves, okay. Each shelf has small holes in between, okay. You have 10 tiffin boxes attached to each other with small holes in between, okay. So what happens when you pour some amount of food in the first shelf? What happens? It gets accommodated. But when the pressure is being built up on the first tiffin box, that is when you add up more amount of food continuously, what happens? The hole which is present below will get opened up. Yes or no? Because you are adding more amount of food in that. Yes, you are adding more amount of pressure in that, due to which what happens? The hole which is present at the bottom is opened up, due to which the food from the first tiffin is released into second tiffin. Same thing happens in the second tiffin. It is transferred to third, to fourth, to fifth, to sixth, then last to 10th, where it is again stored in the form of storage tissue, okay. Similarly, in the plants also, what happens? Suppose this is your leaf, okay. In the leaf, photosynthetic process takes place. But what happens when higher sugar levels is being built up in the leaf? What happens? The pressure is being created. More amount of pressure is being created. And we all know that movement of water is from hypertonic to hypotonic solutions. Water also get interrupted in the phloem tissues. How? We'll study that in next slide. We'll go with the next slide. See, in the next slide you can see xylem is one of the other tube and phloem is the other tube, in which you can see when through the source cell, that is from the leaf cell, more amount of glucose is being formed, okay. This glucose is again transported through one phloem tissue, that is one phloem cell tube. And we all know when more pressure is there, more amount of it, the cell is more hypertonic in nature, due to which what happens? Water which is hypotonic enters into the hypertonic solution, okay, from higher concentration, from lower concentration to higher concentration, okay. So movement of water will be done, which creates more pressure in the sieve tube, which ultimately results in movement of sugar or sucrose solution from one sieve tube to the other sieve tube. You can see in the diagram itself, from source to leaf, that is leaf, you can see the movement of red colored solution, that are nothing but sucrose particles, from one sieve tube is again transported to second sieve tube, to third, to fourth. Like that, completely the food particles or the storage organs or the sucrose solutions will be transported from one part of, that is from source to sink. Sink is nothing but the storage organ, whichever it is, like your roots, shoots or stem, everything, okay. The part where the more amount of food is being stored is called as the storage organ. So source is nothing but the leaf part. To the sink part, all the food particles will be transported with the help of pressure solution, that is from one sieve tube to the other sieve tube through perforations which are present in between the cells, okay. So in the next slide you have the same thing written in that. And one more important, why the food is necessary to be transported? Because it gives you energy, it helps in building the parts, that is gives the growth of the parts, and of course maintain the life of the plant. And other substances like hormones made in the tips of the roots and shoots are also transported through phloem tubes. I already told you that through the xylem vessels only small amount of ions and water molecules only get transported, but the larger hormones, larger mineral ions cannot get transported through the xylem vessels, which should be transported through the phloem vessels. So phloem plays a very important role in transportation of certain hormones also. So you can see in the form of basic thing, it is by using, and one more important point is, it requires certain amount of energy, because food particles are contains very large amount of molecular weight and it contains larger amount of ions. So the movement of molecules requires certain amount of energy only when they are completely entering into the storage organ. Suppose I gave you an example of 10 tiffins. So the 9 tiffins, it doesn't require any energy, but when it is entering the 10th tiffin, that is the storage organ, it requires certain amount of energy, because it is stored there. It cannot get transported to other organ. It is stored there and it is closed over there. So when it is transported, when the food is transported to the storage organ, exactly to the storage organ, it requires certain amount of energy, which is nothing but the ATP for the transportation of food materials. So you can read that. It is used by that by using ATP, the food made in the leaves of plant is loaded in the sieve tubes of phloem tissue, Then by the process of osmosis, water enters through the sieve tubes that contain sugar. That's what I told you. That is through movement of substances from one concentration to the other concentration. And the center, that is the phloem's companion cells, are acting as a semi-permeable membrane. Okay. Through osmosis, the water transportation takes place, which builds up more amount of pressure, which ultimately results in movement of food substances from one companion cell or from one sieve tube to the other sieve tube. Okay. This rises pressure in phloem tissue. This high pressure produced in phloem tissue moves the food to all other parts of the plants, having less pressure. In this way, food is transported to all parts of the phloem tissue. That's what I told you. That is, movement will be done from one cell to the other cell because it has more pressure. The first tiffin has more pressure and the lower tiffins has less pressure. So the movement will be transported from one part of the tiffin box to the other tiffin box because the lower pressure is being emptied there. So the pressure should be distributed to all the boxes equally. So like that, the food is being transported from source to the sink. Okay. So in the next part, you can see a mechanism of transport of food in the plant. So that's what I told you just now. That mechanism is nothing but movement of food from the leaves to the shoots. Leaves to the sink. That is from source to the sink. Food in the leaves is being transported with the help. I'll just go with a brief description of whatever we have studied now. Food from the leaves is being transported. That is, food through photosynthetic process is being produced in the leaves. That is, with the help of light and chlorophyll pigment and in the presence of carbon dioxide. Food is being processed. But when the food is being processed, what happens? Food is being transported to the other parts of the plant through the phloem vessels. Xylem vessels only can transport water and mineral ions, whereas phloem vessels get help in transportation of various amounts of food particles and large hormones. So here, food from the leaves is being transported through the other part with the help of osmosis. Osmosis also plays a major role, that it helps in transportation of minerals, water molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Here, phloem vessels and xylem vessels, the tubes of phloem and xylem vessels are acting as a semi-permeable membrane. Okay. So water gets accumulated in the phloem tube, which helps in building up of more amount of pressure in the sieve tube, or you can say in the source of the plant cell. So when more amount of pressure is created in the source of the plant cell, which ultimately results in movement of substances from higher pressure area to lower pressure area. So movement will be done or in the upstairs or in the downstairs. Sometimes it happens that the source will be at the center. Okay. Source can be at the, I'm not telling it is always present at the top. It can be at the center. We all know leaves are present in multi-direction in the leaves or in the plant. So the source, whatever the source is, it can be at any point of the plant. It can be at the center, it can be at the bottom, it can be at the upstairs, any part. Okay. So if it is as a center, and the top cells and the bottom cells and the side cells, beside cells are always less pressure. The beside cells, the top cells and the bottom cells of the sieve tube or the phloem tissue are always having low pressure areas. So what happens when there are low pressure areas? The pressure which is built up in the center cell or centralized cell will be equally distributed to all parts of the phloem tube, which ultimately results in equally distribution of cells, and these cells will be transporting more amount of food to different branches or different parts of the plant cell. It is not like only one type or only down or only up. It is like multi-directional process. That's why I told you it is called as multi-directional process, because leaves are centralized organs. Leaves are centralized organs, like our heart. Basic example is our heart. Heart cannot only pump your blood only to our lower body parts or upper body parts. It transports your blood to all the body parts, like it's two hands, two legs to your brain, every body part, each and every body part. Heart is multi-speciality organ, yes or no? Similarly, phloem tissues are also multi-directional, helps in movement of food materials through multi-directional process. That is, the source could be anywhere, but it helps in movement of substances from one part of the plant, that is from source to the sink, that is to storage organ throughout the leaf cells. You can see that sieve tubes of phloem tissues, pressure in the phloem tissues increases, which ultimately results in movement of food particles from one part to the other part. So with this, we will be completing our chapter, and I will give you a link of the notes, that is question answers, with this video, including at the bottom. You just go through all the question answers. In this chapter, you have got very important few SAQs. You have to, get through all the SAQs as well as the VSAQs. Just go through all the examples and all the cells, all the answers, and make sure you're writing all the answers in a particular notebook, so that you'll have an idea about what is the chapter belonging to and what are the main important characteristic features in the chapter. Okay, so just go through all the question answers. If you have any doubts, just comment. You can, if you are interested, you can note down the topics whichever I am telling. If not, it's okay. You can just note down the question answers whichever I am giving through the link in a new notebook. Just keep a new notebook. You have to draw the diagrams. You have got few diagrams along with it. So just practice the diagrams and make sure you're writing it very neatly. And of course, very important part, don't just write and keep it. Please study, or please go through the answers. Please have just glance daily, one answer at least. Just have a glance of at least one answer daily. And with this, we'll be completing our chapter. I'll just go with the next chapter in our next video. Okay, thank you.